afternoon, everyone, and welcome to All About Sports. It's been definitely quite some time now as the semester is about to end, and we're ready to revive this YouTube channel. I'm your host, Luca Vitale, and joining me today, you got Ethan Polak, you got Ryan Waelterman, you got Connor Larkin. How you all doing today?
Swell.
Swell. Okay, I respect that. All right, we're going to talk about Sunday's upcoming games, and where we're going to talk about first game, we're going to mention the Kansas City Chiefs and the Miami Dolphins. The Kansas City Chiefs have been on what heck of a run lately, 11-1 heading to Miami this weekend. And the Miami Dolphins are coming off a win of the Cincinnati Bengals and are currently 8-4 on the season campaign, looking to lock a playoff spot in sooner rather than later. So, Ethan, since you're the Miami Dolphins fan here, I'm going to start with you. Can the Miami Dolphins upset the Kansas City Chiefs this weekend?
There is a solid chance, because I'm going to let you guys know this. As people who don't really watch the Dolphins, things happen. 1-1 games are usually held in Miami because Miami is just a whole different place when teams come to play there. As you see, the Dolphins usually always beat the Patriots. But the second big thing is the Dolphins are wearing not only their throwback uniforms, they're wearing their aqua throwback uniforms, which for people who don't know, whenever we wear those, for whatever reason, things just go really well for the Dolphins. That's what happened when the Miami Miracle happened. That's what happens whenever the Dolphins have knocked off the Patriots towards the end of the seasons. It's just crazy games whenever Miami wears those, and we're happen to be wearing them this week on basically a must-win for the Dolphins, who are trying to stay ahead in the playoff race as weeks get closer. And I really do think the Dolphins could be able to pull an upset, as Brian Flores, their head coach, the defensive coordinator, who used to be on the Patriots, he was the defense coordinator when the Patriots were able to stop Patrick Mahomes and their offense of plenty for the 2 years straight when the Chiefs didn't make it, when they kept choking against the Patriots kept making the Super Bowl. That was when Brian Flores led the Patriots defense. Now he is leading the Dolphins defense, and we'll see if he's able to continue that streak and continue that. So I'm thinking there is a solid chance for the Dolphins to do that. Our defense has been surprisingly underrated to people who have not paid attention. In my opinion, Xavier Howard's been having a better season than Stephon Gilmore's Defensive Player of the Year season last year, the way that he's been playing. So I feel like they're not getting really respected here, and I feel like the Dolphins have a solid, sneaky chance to make it a closer game than some people think and maybe even come up with an upset.
I think you're out of your damn mind. Okay, let's just talk about the fact that this is the Kansas City Chiefs, the reigning defending Super Bowl champions, okay? We're talking about Patrick Mahomes running this Kansas City Chiefs, the offense, rather. I understand how the Miami Dolphins, they are second on defense with points allowed per game. That's impressive, except when you look at what Patrick Mahomes can do with that football. They are first, the Kansas City offense is first in pass yards allowed, in yards gathered per game. So we're talking about a Kansas City offense, as they are so potent with, you got Tyreek Hill, you got Travis Kelce, you got Sammy Watkins, you got all of these great players, you got a running game in Clyde Edwards-Helaire. We see everything that this team has. So I would say the only way this Miami offense, and Tua Tagovailoa, who has been nothing but spectacular so far, and Brian Flores doing one hell of a job, we see what he's done, but we need to understand something that yes, they do have Devontae Parker. Yes, they got other good receivers and those guys. We see Grant, we see what they got. But the thing is, when you are looking at this Miami offense compared to the Kansas City Chiefs offense, I don't see a comparison. I feel like Kansas City is not going to blow them out, but they will beat them.
Hey, man, let's just take a minute to just remember what my man Ethan just said. He thinks that the Miami Dolphins can upset the Chiefs. And I'm sorry, Ethan, as much as I despise the Chiefs, I don't care if you're wearing your lucky jerseys, your lucky jock straps, your lucky shirts. You're not going to beat this team. The Chiefs are just so dang good. It's just unreal. I will say that Miami has the upper they have the upper advantage in the defense. I think the defense is just a little bit better than Chiefs, but the Chiefs have the best offense. And if Patrick Mahomes is doing his thing, it's going to be really, really hard to beat them, man. I'm just saying, it would be nice to see an upset, and I'm totally with you. I just don't see it happening. The Chiefs are just too dang good.
Okay, well, so I don't think an upset is impossible. I think there's hope, Ethan. You should keep some hope alive. It can definitely happen. I think there's good chance, but if I were to pick who were to win, I would say the Chiefs. But I don't think it's going to be, it's going to be a close game. And Miami always seems to pull it out of the hat somehow. So I think it could happen.
Well,
Before we go on further, I also want to say this. The last time the Dolphins versus the quote unquote number one offense in the league, hottest offense, was the Cardinals when they were the number one offense, and basically they were able to move the ball with complete and utter ease when they were playing better than the Chiefs earlier this season. And guess who won that game?
the Miami Dolphins.
So keep that in mind when you're watching this game, because Miami's not their defense. What is it? Their offense is young and not inexperienced, but sometimes there's a little magic happening in Miami, and sometimes that could pull their way.
Well, no one's dismissing the fact that they could. They are a very good team. No one's dismissing the fact of that. I mean, last year everyone was questioning whether or not this will be the worst team in history, and they went 5-11. So no one is ever going to dismiss that. No one's going to dismiss the fact that Ryan Flores is a one good coach, and then you got Chris Greer as your GM. No one's dismissing that. But when you look at what Patrick Mahomes has done, this man has thrown 31 touchdowns compared to 2 interceptions. This guy is a sensational quarterback. He is a one-generational talent, as we will all see. Tua Tagovailoa, he's going to be a very great quarterback. No one's going to say he's not. I feel like he's going to has lots of hope and promise ahead of him. He played very well against the Cincinnati Bengals last weekend, even though the Cincinnati Bengals don't even have a defense. But he threw for, I think it was 292 yards. I think it was very impressive. He's definitely shown lots of promise. He's able to escape the pocket. He's able to extend plays. We see that. And then you got a good defense. Howard, like you said, I mean, they do have hope. I just do not think it is this season to beat the Chiefs. I feel like if they build up one step further up, I feel like next season we could be talking about an upset against the Chiefs.
Hey, they owe us one though, because we were the ones that gave them a bye week last year, so they got to give us a little redemption, or a little maybe give us a free win after we helped them out last year.
Well, yeah, no one's dismissing that. I remember seeing that New England game. That was just embarrassing what the Patriots did.
I think it's going to be one of the better football games of the weekend, and honestly, I wouldn't count out another Miami miracle.
Yeah. Well, that game is at 12 o'clock on CBS, so be sure to tune in for that one. All right, let's move on now to the Minnesota Vikings and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Minnesota Vikings are entering this action 6-6, exactly at 500, second in NFC North, coming off 2 straight victories, an overtime thriller last weekend against Jacksonville. Tampa Bay's coming off a bye week, but they are currently on a 2-game losing streak from the Chiefs and the Rams. So they stand at 7-5 currently. So, Connor, I'm actually going to start with you for this one. Can the Minnesota Vikings start to put the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playoff hopes in jeopardy?
To put it plainly, no. I think Tampa's got this. As a Falcons fan, I saw Minnesota lose to the Falcons, and sometimes they have it. Sometimes Minnesota, they got it sometimes, but I just don't think they're going to show off like you might be expecting. That Tampa's going to win this.
I don't know, man. I think the Vikings at the very beginning of the season, they didn't show us what they could do, but lately they haven't been playing too bad. I mean, 6-6, it's not promising for them, but it's not bad. I think we all know the Packers are going to come out on top of that division, but the Vikings definitely going to try to give us a run for our money. But I still think this game could be really close, especially since Tom Brady hasn't looked the best this year at all. I think his age is definitely getting to him. But I definitely think that the Tampa Bay's defense is definitely going to be able to hold their own. I do think Tampa Bay will win this game, but I definitely wouldn't rule out like an absolute blowout. I think this game might be a lot closer than you think.
All I have to say is, you like that? We'll see. We'll see what some Kirk Cousins has been. I'll give some little love to him, as people don't really realize how good of a season he's been having right now. I mean, at the moment, stat-wise, he's literally 11th, so he's a borderline top 10 quarterback in the league, and people don't know that because he's been playing very, very well. He hasn't been throwing many interceptions like he usually has. He's actually won a primetime game in 2020, and he's just been playing very, very well, and that is pretty much due to his wide receivers helping him out a lot too, with Thielen and Justin Jefferson going off. And in a game against Tampa's weak, their defense is really great against the run. their secondary is garbage. And that is the reason why they keep losing game after game after game. So that's why I think that Kirk Cousins will be able to take care of that and be able to kind of give us a little surprise towards towards basically the Tampa Bay team. However, I feel like, what is it? We all got to remember, this is also not a primetime game, and Brady has been doing bad only during primetime games. And when he's not, he's a top 10 quarterback. And since they're not playing at a primetime, and since that Tampa's coming off a bye and they're fresh, I feel like Tampa's got it just because they're basically, I think they have a little bit more time to get ready for this game than the Vikings did. And the Vikings went to overtime against the 1-10 or 11 Jags, whatever the record is, the 1-win Jags. So I feel like the Tampa Bay will come up with this, but I think it'll be just a 1-score win for Tampa.
Well, first of all, the Kirk Cousins one primetime victory happened to come against the miserable Chicago Bears. So let's not get too hyped about that. It only took them, 5 years to get a primetime win. So congratulations to Kirk Cousins. I'm so happy for him. But anyway, the Minnesota Vikings, Tampa Bay should be ready for this game. They were off last weekend, okay? Jacksonville kept Minnesota honest that entire game. So let's be very serious here. However, what Minnesota is going to have to do is they're going to have to rely on Kirk Cousins actually more this game, because Dalvin Cook is going to be neutralized by this Tampa Bay defense. They are first against the rush. They're first against the run. So you got to be very, very careful. They got playmakers in JPP. They got you got Ndamukong Suh. You got Jamal Dean. You got those guys on the Tampa Bay defense that can make a difference. But when you have playmakers in Adam Thielen, you got Chad Beebe, you got Kyle Rudolph, got Adam Thielen. Don't forget about Justin Jefferson. All these guys can make a difference. You just got to be able to fling the football accurately. That's what you got to do. But like you said, Ethan, the Minnesota Vikings secondary is trash. It has been bad all season. I'm not sure why no one attempts to make long shots down the field, because they're that weak. But when you look at Tampa Bay, I've said this from day one, they have an embarrassment of riches on offense, okay? You got a running game in Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette. You got receivers in Antonio Brown, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Cameron Brate. You got everybody you need. Put Scotty Miller in there too if you want. Gronk's in there too. So you put all of that. You got Tom Brady under the helm. I don't understand why they're even 7-5. I really don't, because this team should be so much better. But they're not. And this is a game they need to win, because as Connor knows, they will be playing the Atlanta Falcons, I think, twice in the next 3 weeks. And you know Atlanta, what they like to do, they like to play spoiler. So if Tampa Bay does not win this game, I think it's time to panic just a little bit, because Minnesota can pull this off. They could, because they've actually been playing decent lately.
Well, Luca, I don't know about you, but I know you said this at like the beginning of our show on Around the Waves. But you said that for Buccaneers fans, it's either World Series this year. I mean, oh my goodness, Super Bowl this year, or something's going on. So honestly, if I was a Buccaneers fan,
I told you, I'll tell you exactly what I said.
Yeah.
I said if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do not make the Super Bowl, their season was a failure. That's exactly what I said.
Yeah. And I agree with that. And right now, if I was a Buccaneers fan, I would be worried, because they're 7-5, and they have to face the Vikings, where you would think they should win this game. It should be a complete demolition, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think this game's going to be a lot closer, especially if Tom Brady's not playing like that top 10 quarterback he is. If they let Dalvin Cook run all over them, then that's a problem already. But the fact that they're 7-5 and they're worrying about a game against the Vikings where they should have no problem coming in and winning this game, I think if you're a Buccaneers fan, you should be very, very worried for your season right now, especially your playoff hopes.
So, Connor, let me ask you this question. If the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lose this game, how do the Tampa Bay Buccaneers adjust to the Atlanta Falcons? Do you think they will be able to win both, or are they going to split?
I mean, I'd expect a split for sure. There's, especially, you'd be so demoralized after losing to the Vikings. So, I mean, it's going to be it would probably split. There's no way they can win both, All
right. Well, let me ask you this question, because you still have your NFC West leader, or your winner rather. You said the Arizona Cardinals are going to win the division. You said that a couple of weeks. You still have hope for them. if they actually keep winning these next couple of games, is it doom time for Tampa Bay?
I mean, yeah.
All right, well, we got to see what happens here because Tampa Bay does not win this game. Like I said to all of you, there's some serious questions to be answered. And you're going to have Bruce Arians chewing out Tom Brady because he's probably afraid of his job security. So I don't know if that's actually something to be considering, really. But you never know. The NFL is definitely a strange season and sport. We get that. But I got to say one last thing before we go to Sunday Night Football. Like I said, Ryan, if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers don't even make the playoffs, you got some serious changes you need for next season. That's embarrassing if you don't make the playoffs.